Texarkana, a small town straddling the border of Texas and Arkansas, was known for its charming southern atmosphere and peaceful community. But in 1946, the town's idyllic image was shattered by a series of grisly murders that left the locals gripped with fear and paranoia. These crimes became known as the Moonlight Murders, and the perpetrator earned the nickname the Phantom Killer. The nightmare began on the night of February 22, 1946, when a young couple, Jimmy Hollis aged 25 and Mary Jean Leary aged 19, drove out to a secluded area popular with lovers. The spot, surrounded by dense trees, was quiet and dark, perfect for privacy. But that night, their peace was shattered by an intruder wearing a white cloth mask with holes cut out for the eyes and mouth. The masked man shone a flashlight into their car, blinding the couple. He forced them out at gunpoint. At first, Jimmy tried reasoning with the man, but he was brutally beaten with the butt of a pistol, fracturing his skull. Mary Jean was ordered to run, and when she obeyed, the attacker chased her down, sexually assaulted her, and left her traumatized but alive. Somehow, both Jimmy and Mary Jean survived the attack and made it to safety, but they were unable to identify the assailant. This attack, as horrifying as it was, turned out to be only the beginning. On March 24, 1946, Richard Griffin, aged 29, and Polly Ann Moore, aged 17, were found shot to death in their car at another lover's lane. Their bodies were discovered the next morning by a passerby, and the gruesome scene left investigators baffled. Both victims had been shot in the back of the head execution style, and there were signs of a struggle. Just 3 weeks later, on April 14, 1946, another young couple, Paul Martin, aged 16, and Betty Jo Booker, aged 15, disappeared after attending a school dance. Paul's body was found the next morning on a rural road with gunshot wounds, while Betty Jo's body was discovered hours later, nearly 2 miles away, partially hidden in the woods. She had also been shot. The murder sent shockwaves through Texarkana. People began locking their doors at night, something unheard of in the sleepy town. Businesses closed early, and a strict curfew was imposed. Residents armed themselves, and some even left the area altogether, fearing they might be next. Authorities from both Texas and Arkansas joined forces to investigate. The Texas Rangers, renowned for their expertise, were brought in. Rumors spread like wildfire. Was the killer someone local? Could it be a soldier back from the war, mentally unstable? Despite the efforts of law enforcement, the investigation yielded no solid leads. The Phantom Killer struck again on May 3, 1946, this time targeting Virgil Starks, aged 37, and his wife, Katie, aged 36, in their farmhouse. As Virgil sat listening to the radio, he was shot twice through a window. Katie, hearing the gunshots, ran to her husband but was shot twice herself as she tried to call for help. Despite her injuries, Katie managed to escape to a neighbor's house, covered in blood, and survived. This attack, unlike the previous ones, occurred in a home rather than a lover's lane, escalating the town's terror. By the summer of 1946, the killings mysteriously stopped, but the case was never solved. Several suspects were questioned, including a man named Yowell Swinney, a car thief who was briefly linked to the murders through circumstantial evidence. However, no charges were ever filed, and the true identity of the Phantom Killer remains unknown to this day. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders inspired books, documentaries, and even a horror movie, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. But for the people who lived through those harrowing months, it was no Hollywood story, it was real, and it changed their lives forever. The case of the Phantom Killer is a chilling reminder of how quickly fear can consume a community. Decades later, the unanswered questions continue to haunt Texarkana. Who was the Phantom Killer? And why did the murders suddenly stop? If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more chilling tales from history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let us know in the comments if there's a case you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.